Next, we are going to cover workplace posters. In the state of California, all employers, including licensed motor vehicle dealers, must meet workplace posting obligations. The Department of Industrial Relations requires employers to post information related to wages, hours, and working conditions in an area frequented by employees where it can be easily read during the workday. Workplace postings are available at no cost and can be downloaded for free. There are also several companies that offer a large laminate poster of all required California posters that will ensure that you maintain your posting compliance. Just visit your favorite search engines such as Yahoo, Bing, or Google and search for California workplace posters. You can also download a large PDF file with all the posters we discussed in this section at the CaliforniaDealer.com website. Just scroll down, click on California Dealer Forms, and additional posting requirements may also apply to some dealerships that handle hazardous materials such as motor vehicle oil, batteries, or gasoline. So what we're going to cover in this section, we're going to talk about posters that post discrimination and harassment, transgender rights, family care and medical care leave for 50 or more employees, if that applies to you, notice to employees, unemployment benefits, time off to vote, equal employment opportunity, federal minimum wage, and also we're going to cover the Industrial Welfare Commission wage orders. We're also going to go over the posters that disclose employee polygraph protection, pregnancy and disability leave when you have, at least 5 to 49 employees, paid sick leave, payday notice, safety and health protection, emergency phone numbers will need to be posted. We'll cover that. No smoking signs, injuries caused by work, and workers' compensation coverage is also going to be discussed in this section. The first poster I want to show you and I'd like to cover with you is the Discrimination Harassment poster. The California Department of Fair Employment and Housing enforces laws that protect your employees from illegal discrimination and harassment in employment that is based on their ancestry, their age, when they're 40 and above, their color, their disability, physical and mental, including HIV and AIDS, their genetic information, their gender identity, their gender expression, their marital status, their medical conditions, which includes genetic characteristics, cancer, or a record or history of cancer. Military or veteran status is also covered. National origin, unable to prove their presence in the United States is authorized under federal law. Race, religion, which includes religious dress and grooming practices as well. Sex and gender includes pregnancy, childbirth, breastfeeding, or related medical conditions. Sexual orientation is also going to be covered under this form. The law provides for remedies for individuals who experience prohibited discrimination or harassment in the workplace. These remedies may include hiring, front pay, back pay, promotion, reinstatement, cease and desist orders, expert witness fees, reasonable attorney fees and costs, punitive damages, and emotional distress damages as well. For more information about harassment and discrimination, you can contact the Department of Fair Employment and Housing toll-free at 800-884-1684. Next is your transgender rights poster. Transgender is a term used to describe people whose gender identity differs from the sex they were assigned at birth. Gender expression is defined by the law to mean a person's gender-related appearance and behavior, whether or not stereotypically associated with the person's assigned sex at birth. Gender identity and gender expression are protected characteristics under the Fair Employment and Housing Act. That means that employers, such as motor vehicle dealerships, may not discriminate against anyone because they identify as transgender or gender nonconforming. This includes the perception that someone is transgender or gender nonconforming. You, as an employer, also need to know what gender transition means. Social transition involves a process of socially aligning one's gender with the internal sense of self, such as when a person changes their name, bathroom facility usage, participation in certain activities. Physical transition refers to medical treatments an individual may undergo to physically align their body with internal sense of self, such as hormone therapies or surgical procedures. A person does not need to complete any particular step in gender transition in order to be protected by this law. A dealer, as an employer, may not condition its treatment or accommodation of a transitioning employee upon completion of a particular step in a gender transition. During an employment application interview, you may ask about an employee's employment history, and you may ask for personal references in addition to other non-discriminatory questions. And interviewers should not ask questions designed to detect a person's gender identity, including asking about their marital status, a spouse's name, or relation of a household member to another. Employers should not ask questions about a person's body or whether they plan to have surgery. Restroom requirements. All employees have a right to safe and appropriate restroom and locker facilities. This includes the right to use a restroom or locker room that corresponds to the employee's gender identity, regardless of the employee's assigned sex at birth. In addition, where possible, you as an employer should provide an easily accessible unisex single-stall bathroom for use by any employee who desires increased privacy, regardless of the underlying reason. Use of a unisex single-stall restroom should always be a matter of choice. No employee should be forced to use one either as a matter of policy or due to harassment in a gender-appropriate facility. Unless exempted by other provisions of state law, all single-user toilet facilities in any business establishment, including a California dealership, must be identified as all-gender toilet facilities. For more information about transgender rights, you can contact the Department of Fair Employment and Housing toll-free. That's 800-884-1684. Next is the Family Care and Medical Leave poster. Under the California Family Rights Act of 1993, if your employee has more than 12 months of service with you and has worked at least 1,250 hours in the 12-month period before the date they want to begin their leave, and if you employ 50 or more employees at your dealership or within 75 miles of your dealership, they may have a right to family care or medical leave. This leave may be up to 12 work weeks in a 12-month period for the birth, adoption, or foster care placement of a child, or for their own serious health condition, or that of their child, parent, or spouse. If you employ less than 50 employees at your dealership or within a 75-mile radius of your dealership, but at least 20 employees at your dealership within 75 miles of your dealership, the employee may have a right to family care, leave for the birth, adoption, or foster care placement of their child under the New Parent Leave Act. Similar to the California Family Rights Act, the New Parent Leave Act may be up to 12 work weeks in a 12-month period. While the law provides only unpaid leave, employees may choose or employers may require use of accrued paid leave while taking California Family Rights Act leave under certain conditions, and employees may choose to use accrued paid leave while taking New Parent Leave Act as well. Even if your employees is not eligible for any leave act, if they are disabled by pregnancy, childbirth, or related medical condition, they are entitled to take a pregnancy disability leave of up to 4 months. You may require certification from the employee's healthcare provider before allowing them a leave for pregnancy, disability, or for their own serious health condition. You may also require certification from the healthcare provider of their child, parent, or spouse who has a serious health condition before allowing them to leave to take care of that family member. When medically necessary, leave may be taken on an intermittent or reduced work schedule as well. Next is the official Notice to Employees poster, which advises your employees of potential unemployment insurance, disability insurance, and paid leave insurance benefits, along with contact information for your employees that need additional coverage for each one of these matters. The unemployment benefits poster. You must display a poster that explains unemployment benefits to your employees. This poster not only explains unemployment benefits to your employees, it gives your employees contact information on how to receive the benefits. If you have further questions regarding unemployment benefits, you can contact the Employment Development Department at 916-322-2835. Your time off to vote poster. The California Elections Code 14001 requires employers to post a notice to their employees advising them of provisions for taking paid leave for the purpose of voting in statewide elections. If your employees are scheduled to be at work during voting time on any election day and they do not have sufficient time outside of working hours to vote at a statewide election, California law allows the employee to take up to 2 hours off to vote without losing any pay. They may take as much time as they need to vote, but only 2 hours of that time will be paid by you, the employer. Their time off for voting can only be at the beginning or end of the regular work shift, whichever allows the most free time for voting and the least time off from their regular working shift, unless they make another arrangement with you, the employer. If 3 working days before the election, they think they will need time off to vote, they must notify you, the employer, at least 2 working days prior to the election. If you have any questions about this notice, please contact the Secretary of State Voter Hotline at 800-345-8683. The Equal Employment Opportunity poster explains that applicants to and employees of most employers, including California dealerships, are protected under the federal law from discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, age, sex, or retaliation. Be sure to display your equal opportunity poster with all the other required posters because it is, as it says right there, the law. A federal minimum wage poster must also be displayed, which explains to your employees overtime pay, child labor requirements, tip credits, nursing mother's info, and enforcement policies. This poster also explains punitive measures against the employees that are not compliant. The Industrial Welfare Commission Minimum Wage Order poster, that's a long one, explains minimum wage requirements in California. It also clearly discloses the increases in minimum wage that will take place in the next few years with specific target dates for implementation. The poster also clearly defines meals and lodging credits. If you have questions about this poster or meeting the requirements that are defined in the poster, you can call the Labor Commission's office at 510-285-2118. The Employee Polygraph Protection poster. This poster explains the protections your employees have regarding polygraph tests. The Employee Polygraph Protection Act prohibits most private employers from using lie detector tests either for pre-employment screening or during the course of employment. Employers are generally prohibited from requiring or requesting any employee or job applicant to take a lie detector test and from discharging, disciplining, or discriminating against employee or prospective employee for refusing to take a test or for exercising other rights under this specific act. Where polygraphs are permitted, they are subject to numerous strict guidelines. Employees have a number of specific rights, including the right to written notice before testing, the right to refuse or discontinue a test, and the right not to have test results disclosed to unauthorized persons. The Secretary of Labor may bring court actions to restrain violations and assess civil penalties against violators. So employees or job applicants may also bring their court actions. Pregnancy and disability leave posters. So any California employer with 5 to 49 employees must display a pregnancy and disability leave poster and comply with its requirements. California law requires protects employees against discrimination or harassment because of an employee's pregnancy, childbirth, or any related medical condition. California law also prohibits employers from denying or interfering with an employee's pregnancy-related employment rights. As a California employer, you have an obligation to reasonably accommodate your employees' medical needs related to pregnancy, childbirth, or related conditions, such as temporarily modifying their work duties, providing them with a stool or a chair, or allowing more frequent breaks. You must transfer them to a less strenuous or hazardous position where one is available, or duties if medically needed because of their pregnancy. You must provide them with pregnancy disability leave of up to 4 months, and return them to the same job where they took off and when they're no longer disabled by their pregnancy, and in some instances, to a comparable job. Taking pregnancy disability leave, however, does not protect them from non-leave related employment actions such as a layoff. You must provide a reasonable amount of break time and use the room or other location in close proximity to the employee's work area to express milk in private. Pregnancy disability leave is not an automatic period of time, but for the period of time that the employee is disabled by the pregnancy. The employee's health care provider determines how much time they will need. Once your employee has notified you that they need to take pregnancy disability leave, you, the employer, must guarantee in writing that the employee can return to work in their same position if they request a written guarantee. You, the employer, may require the employee to submit written medical certification from a healthcare provider substantiating the need for their leave. Pregnancy disability leave may include, but is not limited to, additional or more frequent breaks, time for prenatal or postnatal medical appointments, doctor-ordered bed rest, severe morning sickness, gestational diabetes, pregnancy-induced hypertension, preeclampsia, recovery from childbirth or the loss or end of a pregnancy, and postpartum depression. Pregnancy disability leave does not need to be taken all at once, but can be taken on an as-needed basis as required by the employee's healthcare provider, including intermittent leave or reduced work schedule, all of which counts against the employee's 4-month entitlement to leave. You may require your employee to choose to use sick leave during their pregnancy disability leave. You, the employer, are required to continue the employee's group health coverage during your pregnancy disability leave at the same level and under the same conditions the coverage would have been provided if they had continued employment continuously for the duration of the leave. Taking pregnancy disability leave may impact certain levels of the employee benefits and their seniority date as well. Your paid sick leave poster. This poster simply states that any employee that works in California for 30 or more days within a year from the beginning of employment is entitled to paid sick leave. Paid sick leave accrues at the rate of 1 hour per every 30 hours worked, paid at the employee's regular wage rate. The poster also states accrued paid sick leave shall carry over to the following year of employment and may be capped at 48 hours or 6 days. Retaliation or discrimination against an employee who requests paid sick days or uses paid sick days or both is prohibited. An employee can file a complaint with the Labor Commissioner against an employer who retaliates or discriminates against the employee. Also, you're required by law to post a notice in your dealership stating when employees are paid. This law has actually been in effect for many years, but I believe several employers are probably unaware of it. You must specify the regular paydays and the time and place of payment. You may use the one you see on the screen, which can be downloaded at the CaliforniaDealer.com website, along with all the other forms we discussed in this section, or you can create your own payday notice if that's more convenient. California law provides workplace safety and health protections for workers through regulations enforced by the Division of Occupational Safety and Health. That's what California OSHA. This poster explains some of the basic requirements and procedures to comply with the state's workplace safety and health standards and orders. The law requires that this poster be displayed. Failure to do so could result in a substantial penalty, and you must display this poster in a conspicuous place where notices to employees are customarily posted so everyone on a job can be aware of basic rights and responsibilities. You must be aware of hazards that your employees face on a job and keep records showing that each employee has been trained in hazards unique to each job assignment and must correct any hazardous condition that you know may result in injury to employees. Failure to do so could result in criminal charges, monetary penalties, and even a possibility of incarceration. You must notify a Cal OSHA district office of any serious injury or illness or death occurring on the job. Be sure to do this immediately after calling for emergency help to assist the injured employee. Failure to report a serious injury or illness or death within 8 hours can result in a minimum civil penalty of $5,000. A trained Cal OSHA safety engineer or industrial hygienist may visit your dealership to make sure you're obeying workplace safety and health laws. Inspections are also conducted when an employee files a valid complaint with the Cal OSHA office. Cal OSHA also goes on site to the workplace to investigate serious injuries, illnesses, or fatalities. To learn more about workplace safety rules, you can contact the Cal OSHA Consultation Services for free information, required forms, and publications at 510-286-700. Or if you prefer, you may retain a competent private consultant or ask your workers' compensation insurance carrier for guidance in obtaining information. You must post emergency phone numbers in your dealership. The posting of emergency numbers is required by Title 8, Section 1512 of the California Code of Regulations. Title 8 requires you post ambulance, fire rescue, hospital, physician, alternative physician, police, and the number of your Cal OSHA office, which is for future reference. Also, if you need other questions, it's at 800-963-9294. No smoking. No smoking signs in the workplace. Under California Labor Code, no employer may knowingly or intentionally permit, and no person may engage in smoking of tobacco products in any enclosed place at any place of employment, including your dealership. California has long led the way in adopting strong and innovative smoke-free air laws that protect people from secondhand smoke exposure. These laws protect Californians in most workplaces and in spaces often frequented by children and youth who are especially vulnerable to the negative health effects of secondhand smoke. California's smoke-free laws include traditional tobacco products such as cigarettes, cigars, pipes, as well as electronic smoking devices. Certain laws prohibit the use of all tobacco products, including tobacco that is chewed or dissolved. Smoking and secondhand smoke cause life-threatening diseases, and it is estimated that nearly 40,000 Californians die every year from diseases caused by smoking and by secondhand smoke exposure. California's smoke-free air laws protect non-smokers from the deadly consequences of secondhand smoke exposure and reinforce social behaviors against the habit of smoking, which can encourage all people to quit smoking once and for all. The injuries caused at work poster that you see here states that your employees may be entitled to workers' compensation benefits if they are injured or become ill because of their job. Workers' compensation covers most work-related physical or mental injuries and illnesses. An injury or an illness can be caused by one event, such as hurting their back in a fall, or by repeated exposures, such as hurting their wrist from doing the same motion over and over. The poster describes the benefits of workers' compensation, including medical care, disability benefits, job displacement benefits, and death benefits. The poster also instructs the employees on what to do if they are injured on the job, to seek medical care, and to report the injury. You must enter your medical care provider network website address, the medical provider network effective date, and your medical provider network identification number, your medical provider network assistant phone number, and your medical provider network contact person number. Be sure to enter this information on the poster to ensure your compliance with the law. Next, we're going to take a look at the workers' compensation poster. Your workers' compensation coverage poster is very similar to the injuries caused at work poster, but it is a separate posting requirement and does require some additional information. The poster also instructs the employees on what to do if they are injured on the job, to seek medical care, and to report the injury. You must enter the medical care provider network website address, medical provider network effective date, and the medical provider network identification number, your medical provider network assistant phone number, and your medical provider network contact person phone number, like on the other form. You must also enter your workers' compensation claims administrator contact person, along with their phone number and the name of your workers' compensation insurer. And finally, you're going to need to enter the phone number of the closest state division of workers' compensation information and assistance office. Be sure to enter this information on the poster to ensure you're compliant with the workers' compensation coverage poster law.